Greetings, this is Charles Darwin, and a cat named Spooky. I hope this video will go viral the way all cat videos do on YouTube, although I'm not sure my previous cat videos weren't viewed very many times, even though you were in them, weren't you? Well, I'm here to talk to you about empathy. Now, how do you measure empathy? Is it something you can just detect by feeling? Now, a lot of people who either own cats or are owned by cats think that their cats love them, that a cat feels empathy because the cat will crawl up on you and purr. But that's not necessarily the case. It could be that the cat is just looking for comfort, perhaps looking for warmth, or perhaps, like Spooky is right now, trying to get me to give her some fresh food so that she won't have to eat the food that's been sitting out for 10 whole minutes for her. Okay. Well, how do you measure empathy? Back in 2006, there was a paper in the journal Science published by a team of researchers led by Dale Langford. And they wanted to demonstrate empathy in mice. And so what they did was they had plexiglass tubes with clear sides, and they would put mice in the tubes. The tubes were just big enough that the mice could wriggle around, or perhaps writhe. Your choice of wriggle or writhe depends on your feelings about the experiment that was done. But anyway, the mice could move around, but they couldn't turn around. And the researchers had two plexiglass tubes right next to each other, and they would put two different mice in those tubes. And they found that if you irritated one of the mice, never mind how they did that, but they irritated one of the mice, that mouse would, of course, wriggle. Now, the other mouse, upon seeing the first mouse wriggle, would also wriggle in response. Now, does that prove empathy? No, it does not, and the authors did not claim that it did. It could be just that one mouse saw the other mouse in pain and was anticipating that it may feel pain as well and was wriggling in anticipation of that pain, not because of any empathy for the first mouse. But what the researchers did instead, and this was rather brilliant actually, is they used some mice that had been raised in separate cages and some mice that had been raised in the same cage, that is, litter mates. And what they found is that there was significantly more wriggling in the unirritated mouse when it beheld the wriggling of the irritated mouse if the first mouse was its litter mate than if it was not. And this they considered to be experimental demonstration that mice can feel empathy. You have to do something of that sort to be able to measure or demonstrate empathy. You can't just go by the way you feel about an animal or what that animal does and your interpretation of it. That would be experimenter bias, observer bias, and science tries to eliminate bias. We all have it, but science tries to avoid it as much as possible. Isn't that right, Spooky? Now, do cats have empathy? Well, it does appear that it's possible because litter mates in cats seem to treat each other much more nicely than cats that have never met before. To really demonstrate it, though, perhaps you should use the Langford method. But I ask you, have you ever tried putting a cat in a plexiglass tube? This is Charles Darwin. Tally-ho, and amen.